Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm Augie F. Rage is back. Welcome to the channel. Now, before we get into the entire Racedynamics Powertronic unit, let me just firstly mention a few things about Rage. Of late, there have been heating issues with the motorcycle and it's been shutting down because of that. I gave it to Ahuja Motors KTM service center here in Mahim, and their technicians figured out that there was an issue with the seal that separates the engine oil from the coolant. That caused it to mix up, and that caused a shitload of problem. It's all sorted out now, touch wood. What I've also done is I put some engine ice in the cooling system of this KTM, and ever since I've done so, I'm not saying that the bike does not heat up. That's bound to happen with a single cylinder high compression ratio engine, but it takes a while before it reaches the higher end of that gauge over there, so that's a nice thing. And considering I'm using a performance ECU but an optional performance ECU, I think that would be a nice add-on for anyone who's looking to really push their bikes to the limits, or even for that matter to keep your regular 390 in check. Chapri alert.
A few moments later.
Oh, Chapri got busted. That's nice. There is still justice in the world. Alright, so let's talk all things Powertronic now, shall we? To begin with, the entire system comes in a small box which is really nicely branded and designed. It has everything you need to install the system, and also in case you need to make adjustments to the system as well. The unit itself is pretty small. In fact, it fits right under the seat of my RC390, and for those of you who own RCs, you guys would know that there's not really a lot of space available under it. I'm not going to talk about the installation because there's a separate video of that available, both by Powertronics and on my channel as well, so I'm going to be putting a link to both those videos in the description of this video. In fact, I'll put a card on the top right hand corner of the screen right about now. The new system, the updated, I think it's the version 3 of the Powertronic ECU. There's two variants, one for the models of the RC390 and Duke, which is up to 2016, and one for the newest version release, which is the 2017 onwards version. Now, the unit comes with two maps already pre-installed. One is the touring map, one is the race map. The touring map is again tuned for a little more calmness in the engine, allows you to have power available throughout the rev range, and is a lot more calmer in terms of the riding experience. It's a little more aggressive than the stock map, which you'll find on the RC390 when you get it out of the showroom, but it's stupid. I hate when people do that. The race map, like the name suggests, is going to be trippin' balls on an RC390. In fact, I've only switched to it once when we were riding on Char OT, and I decided against it because it didn't seem natural to be riding like that on public roads, even though Char OT technically is used for really high speeds by really fast motorcycles. I think that's specifically made for the track. They've done a great job with it, but yeah, it's not my cup of tea on public roads at least, and that's how aggressive the motorcycle gets. It's very powerful, it's very responsive, and it can throw you off very easily if you're not skilled enough to be riding it. Let's firstly talk about the major difference you'll notice, and that's in the throttle control. On the stock ECU on the older RC390s, which is what I have, the 2015 RC390, you'll notice that the throttle response is very choppy. Both acceleration and deceleration is very aggressive, and if you've not had a chance to ride a big motorcycle before, it might just scare the pants off you. Idiots everywhere. But what they've managed to do with the touring map is they've managed to iron out that issue, and now the motorcycle accelerates and decelerates a lot more gradually, and that's a good thing, especially for people like me who don't want to be racing like chapris on the road. What that also means is there's less choppiness in the throttle as well, and by that what I mean is with the stock ECU, if you were in a corner, maybe a long winding road in the canyons, and you had the throttle at a certain angle, you'd still experience some degree of choppiness like this, like it would move back and forth like that, so you'd be jerked around the entire time. But with this, there's this element of refinement to it which doesn't allow that to happen, and the power and the throttle response is a lot more linear, I think is the right word to use, because there's really no choppiness to the throttle. You can accelerate and decelerate hard, the bike wouldn't throw you off. The other thing I've noticed in terms of performance is the way the engine behaves throughout the rev range. So for those of you who've owned 2016 and older RC390s, you'd know that there's this level of smoothness that you achieve after 7,000 RPM, which you don't experience below that. And the bike vibrates a lot less after 7,000 RPM. With this, you start to experience that very early on. I'd say close to about 2,000 to 3,000 RPM is where that starts to kick in. And once you've got that flow in place, I think it's very easy to then focus on other things like the scenery, motovlogging, and whatnot. Now, what works well with this unit is the way you can switch modes as well. It doesn't take a lot of effort to do so. You just unplug the two connectors and you've got yourself in the second map which is programmed on the bike. In this case, the race map. And you plug it back in, you're back into touring mode. So it depends on what you prefer. You can have two modes and you can adjust it based on whichever one you want very easily. What they also offer is software on their website which you can download, create a custom map of your own, or just a map which you can download off their page, and then install that with just the help of a laptop and the cables that they've provided you with. So it's again not a very difficult thing to do if you know how to program your motorcycle and create custom maps as well. So I'll leave that up to you. What they've also provided us with is a set of maps on their website which are configured to different settings. For example, if you've got a aftermarket exhaust, a free flow exhaust, and you've installed that already on your motorcycle, there's a map to go with that. If you've just put an aftermarket air filter into the RC390, then you can download that map as well. And again, based on the performance mods which you've installed on your motorcycle, there are maps available for pretty much each of them. So there's a lot of support available. A lot of you might have this question about whether it does affect the mileage of the motorcycle. My answer is yes, but in a positive way. In fact, ever since I've been on the touring map, I've realized a gain of about 1 to 2 kilometers per liter, and that just shows you the amount of refinement that it offers on tap for the RC390. Again, it all depends on how you ride your motorcycle, at what rev range, and we have another looker, at what rev range and in which gear and in which part of India you ride in, how open your roads are. But like I said, for me, for the riding conditions here in Mumbai, I've noticed a gain of about 1 to 2 kilometers per liter, which is a good thing, a very good thing, especially considering our fuel prices and how our politicians are screwing us over. Now, this ECU is also compatible with a quick shifter. So if you do want to have that installed, for those of you track junkies out there, you can get that installed as well at an additional cost. And again, the good news is that Racedynamics themselves provide that unit as well for you, so you can have that put onto your bike hassle-free. Now, if you don't own a KTM or an RC390, fear not. There's a whole list of other motorcycles that Racedynamics makes ECUs for, and I'll put a screenshot of some of the manufacturers which the Racedynamics ECU works with, just to give you an idea of how wide their wings are spread right now. Now, finally, let's talk money, the price. The unit itself costs 18,000 rupees, which is a considerable investment even for someone like me. But if you're, again, like I said, looking to smoothen out your engine and gain the most out of it, depending again on which map you want to be on, then I think this is the way to go. And in the long term, I think it would help you out with your motorcycle as well. What you could also get is the option of a quick shifter, which will cost you another 11,000, bringing the total to 29,000, and that can all be bought off Amazon's website. Again, they're not affiliate links. I will not get any money out of the money you pay for the unit. It's just an honest review and spreading the word about an ECU which can possibly help you out as well. Alright, that's pretty much all I had for today. Thank you again so much for watching the video. If you liked what you saw, like, comment and share this with your friends as well who own either KTMs or other motorcycles that the ECU is compatible with. If you did not like the video, let me know what you did not like about it and share that in the comment section as well. Feedback is always appreciated. As always, at least wear your helmets while riding your motorcycles and ride safe. It's a freaking jungle out there. Goodbye.